In conjunction with the Britfield players, we the kids are proud to present Britfield and the Lost Crown. This radio show is designed to bring to life a powerful story promoting the themes of family, friendship, and courage. The Britfield radio show is meant to engage and entertain you with an inspiring story while offering a fun family experience. The setting is a special library, special because, well, often the readers are visited by authors from the past. Today, we'll visit with kids from We the Kids who are studying to be journalists, focusing on past history. An author from the past has just joined the group, in fact. Let's listen in to find out who the kids are talking to and what they're talking about. Have fun exploring the world of Britfield and the Lost Crown.
Hello, Caris here. I'm your We the Kids reporter here in London. We are here with a group of We the Kids students. It's a quiet afternoon in the old library, with rows of dusty bookshelves stretching up to the ceiling. The air is thick with the scent of old books and the soft murmur of hushed conversations. Suddenly, the door creaks open and Jane Austen walks in, her eyes scanning the room with a curious gaze. As she makes her way through the stacks, she notices a group of children gathered around a table, their faces aglow with excitement. They're surrounded by books, papers, and quills, and they look like they're in the midst of a lively discussion.
Oh my! Who are all you children? I don't believe I've encountered all you children here before.
We are the We the Kids Liberty Players USA.
Oh, well, so very nice to meet you all. My name is Miss Jane Austen. I love this old library. It's so lovely to visit with you all in this old library. You all must enjoy reading. Do any of you know who I am?
Yes, I do. My name is Afton. You're the author, Miss Jane Austen. You wrote great novels from the 1800s. I learned a lot about the history of England when I read your books. Can I ask why you're here?
Oh, well, I visit this old library often, as do many other authors and historians from the past. Oh, yes, I wrote novels about life in England at that time. Many of them, like Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice, were stories about middle-class families living in England. I was a bit of a romantic, so my stories often had a romantic twist. This way, I was able to show students like yourselves, with some humor and romance, what life was like at that time. What is the story you're listening to? What is it about? And who are you, my dear?
I'm Aaliyah. We are listening to the first segment of Britfield and the Lost Crown. The story starts out in the modern-day Weatherly Orphanage, located in the smoldering crags of Yorkshire, northern England. The place is run by two people named Mr. and Mrs. Grievous. The book was written by an author named Mr. Chad Stewart.
Oh, I don't believe I've heard of Mr. Chad Stewart.
I am Mara. Miss Austen, what is an orphanage?
A very good day to you, young Merritt. I must say you have a most intriguing name. It is an absolute pleasure to make your acquaintance. First of all, orphanages are not new. They existed in the 1800s as well. An orphanage is a home where children without parents live. In most orphanages, children were treated with love and respect, but all too often, evil people were in charge. And who are you, young man?
Hi, I'm Jack. In this story, Tom and Sarah, age 12, are being held prisoner and forced to work. The children have numbers, not names, and are punished constantly.
That is very scary.
I'm sure they'll be fine, dear. Well, it sounds like Mr. and Mrs. Grievous were evil. It's very awful to be held someplace against your will.
I'm Henry. Miss Austen, why were the children given numbers and not names?
Well, when a person has a number instead of a name, it dehumanizes them. It makes them less of an individual, less of a person, and it becomes easier to inflict punishment on them. Children, who's next?
Hello, Miss Austen. My name is Mallory. Miss Austen, we are listening to a story today also based in England, but it's from our time period. Can you stay and listen to the story with us?
Why, yes, I think I will. It sounds like these children are in trouble. Let's all listen and see if Tom and Sarah are successful in escaping from the evil Mr. and Mrs. Grievous.
This is author C.R. Stewart. Enjoy listening to Britfield and the Lost Crown, a fast-paced, exciting adventure that will transport you from the smoldering craigs of Yorkshire, through the heart of England, and finally to the magnificent shores of Dover. One of the most awarded books in fiction, Britfield is about family, friendship, and courage. This presentation is in partnership with We the Kids, a national organization that has inspired hundreds of children by involving them and their parents in exciting radio, TV, and on-site projects.
It's a frosty December morning at Weatherly Orphanage, located in Yorkshire, northern England, about 300 miles north of London. The main building is an enormous Elizabethan castle enclosed by a high stone wall with an iron gate at the entrance.
15 years ago, the property was purchased by Mr. and Mrs. Grievous, who turned it into an orphanage. Although they were supposed to provide healthy food, new clothing, and schooling for the orphans, the despicable Grievouses keep the government money for themselves.
Every morning at 6 a.m., the orphans walk into the work area known as the factory, where the girls make wicker baskets and the boys make wooden chairs. These objects are sold in local villages so the Grievouses can make additional money.
Speckle, the new supervisor, arrived 9 months ago. A tyrant, he manages the facility along with Brewster and Sludge, feeble-minded bullies, who follow his every command. The orphans fear Speckle's strengths and do what they can to exploit his weaknesses.
Tom, Sarah, and many other orphans, all dressed in gray outfits, sit around the workshop. The girls are weaving wicker baskets and the boys are building small tables. As Tom whispers to Sarah across the room, Speckle slams his cane stick on the desk.
Number 47, stop chattering at 34 and get back to work.
Yes, Mr. Speckle. Back to work. Right away, sir.
One more word out of you and I'll send you outside.
Speckle sits at his desk and types on his laptop. Tom looks at Sarah, who makes a silly face, and he snickers. Seeing this, Speckle marches over. The entire room goes motionless.
Is something funny?
No, sir. Nothing.
Would standing outside in the cold for 5 hours be funny?
No, it wouldn't.
Speckle lowers his gaze, examining Tom. Unconvinced, Speckle grabs Tom's arm, yanks him from his chair, and drags him outside. The door slams behind them.
Don't move.
Shivering in the cold, Tom nods resentfully. Speckle marches back inside and glares at the children. Hovering around their workstation, Speckle picks up an item, inspects it, then tosses it back down. Peering in from the window, Tom stands motionless.
12 years old. I've been an orphan my entire life and locked up at Weatherly for 6 miserable years. It seems like everything I do violates the Weatherly rulebook. Talking, laughing, and even breathing too loudly. Well, some rules are made to be broken. It's our only way to survive here. We do what we're told and get away with what we can. But I'm done with it. This year, I plan to escape.
The next morning, Tom stands in Mr. Grievous's office. Mr. Grievous, sporting a riding coat and tall black boots, struts into the room. Mrs. Grievous, wearing a black outfit with her hair compressed into a bun, closely watches as Speckle remains by the door.
I heard about your incident in the workshop yesterday, and someone was in my house last night. I want to know who it was.
What do you mean, sir?
Don't play dumb with us, number 47. We know things go on behind our back. What are you kids up to?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Mr. Grievous paces the room, trying to frighten Tom with a menacing glare. Tom looks away, fidgeting with his hands.
I heard noises in my house last night, and a book is missing from my library.
I have no idea.
There's more. Just the other day, I confiscated an illegal pencil from number 11. I also found an apple core in one of the trash cans. Fruit is forbidden at Weatherly, so how did it get there?
Uncooperative, Tom remains still. Frustrated, Mr. Grievous pulls out a file and browses the pages.
We have all your information. Know everything about you.
Mr. Grievous glances at Tom for a reaction, but finds nothing.
Been here for 6 years, 34 infractions, talked back to an authority 18 times, Solitude in the attic 9 times. Locked in the cellar 4 times. Caught with a piece of cheese, resulting in kitchen duty for a month.
You never did tell us where you got that cheese. Did it just magically appear?
Found outside twice. And it seems that your best friend is Sarah, also 12 years old.
Trying to appear unfazed, Tom continues to stare at a random object. Mr. Grievous shuffles through the pages.
It says you're from southern England. You spent time at 3 orphanages before arriving at Weatherly. That's interesting. Most interesting.
What's that, sir?
Tell him!
It says your parents might still be alive. Has only one name. Britfield.
My parents are alive? Do you know where they are? Are they okay? Do they know I'm here?
I see I have your attention. I'll tell you what, Tom. I'll make a deal with you. I want to know everything that goes on at Weatherly. All the orphan secrets. What you rotten kids do when we're not around. Who's to blame? Who do you get things from? Where do you hide them? You tell me this, and perhaps I can help you.
How long have you known about my parents?
Watch your tone, number 47.
We're going to give you 2 days to gather all the information. We want everyone turned in. If you don't, you can forget about finding your parents. And we'll make sure that your next 6 years at Weatherly are a living nightmare.
Worse than now?
Much worse.
Later that day, the orphans march through a hallway to the dining hall when Sarah approaches Tom.
Where have you been? Did you get caught sneaking out last night? I heard you were pulled into an interrogation room this morning. What did they want?
The Grievuses want me to tell them all our secrets and turn everyone in.
What a load of rubbish! As if things aren't bad enough, they always find a way to make them worse.
Mrs. Grievous enters the hallway, searching for disobedience.
We can't talk now. Let's meet tonight at the View. I hate the roof. You know how I feel about heights. It's the safest place to go. Fine. What time? 11.
Mrs. Grievous storms toward Tom and Sarah.
You two, stop your babbling and get to the dining hall. How dare you make eye contact, number 34? Keep your head down and don't test me today. One more misstep and you've had it.
In the workshop the next morning, the orphans were busy making baskets and tables. As Tom searches the room for Sarah, Speckle approaches.
Looking for your friend? I caught her sneaking around the roof last night. She's in solitude. 30 days.
30 days? That's ridiculous!
Are you questioning me?
No, sir.
Perhaps you can get her out early. You have until tomorrow morning to give us the information we need. If not, you won't be seeing her for a long time.
As Speckle marches away, Patrick, 16 years old, the oldest and wisest orphan, approaches Tom.
Backed into a corner, has he? Trying to get information?
How'd you know?
Because they've tried it with me before. What do they have on you?
Mr. Grievous said my parents might be alive, but he wants me to turn everyone in by tomorrow.
Could be a trick. What else?
They have Sarah in solitude for a month.
I heard. No one deserves 30 days.
Something has to be done.
You mean like a breakout?
Yeah, exactly. If not now, then when?
Count me in. But it's gotta be done tonight. We'll get the boys together later.
As Patrick hurries away, Tom whispers the plan to a few of the orphans, who discuss the idea among themselves.
A breakout attempt is crazy. It'll never work. Remember Eddie, who tried to escape over the front gate? He was captured and thrown into solitude for weeks. He's never been the same since.
You think that was bad? What about Brannick, who hid under the trunk of the Grievous's car? He was hoping to escape when they drove to York the next morning. Unfortunately, they never left. He was found by Speckle and punished severely.
There's also that time Danica and Dalen tried to dig a tunnel under the stone wall, but Miss Grievous discovered it, and they've been on kitchen duty ever since.
And let's not forget about Patrick, who has made 9 escape attempts, all massive failures.
He's tried to escape 9 different times?
Yep, the first time was when he was 8. The last one was 6 months ago. He made it to the front gate, but while picking the lock, he was cornered by the vicious guard dog Wind and nearly eaten alive.
It's impossible to escape from Weatherly.
Sitting in the boys' bedroom that night, Patrick, Tom, Bertie, Trevor, Brannick, and Richie discuss their plans. The other boys gather around and listen.
Are you sure this is a good idea? Yes, it's time we do something. Now I've discovered that Sarah's in the east attic, but the lock is impossible to pick. I know, I've tried. Then what can we do? There's a small window at the end of the gable. I could tie a knotted rope around the roof peak and throw it over the side. Tom could climb up and rescue her. Where did you get a rope?
I found it in the workshop and hid it under my bed.
Okay, but once I rescue Sarah, we're getting out of here and heading to London.
We understand. It's the best place to go.
Tom reaches under his mattress. He grabs a compass and a map, which he unfolds.
Using this map that I found when I got to Weatherly.
You have a map?
Brennick, focus. Using the map and surveying the landscape from the view, I figured out an escape plan.
This is incredible. The map shows the surrounding towns, including the train station.
I think there's a damaged section of the wall about 100 feet from the Grievous's house. You could probably squeeze through the opening, if you can get there.
That might work. We can follow this road, across the fields, and over the Leyburn. There must be a train to London.
The rest of your plan makes sense, but that's a long distance from the castle to the wall. It's a full moon tonight. If they unhook Wind from his chain, you'll never make it. But there might be another way.
Patrick hurries to a ceiling panel, removes a flashlight and a folded map, then rushes back.
I found this old architectural drawing of the foundation and underground tunnels when I was locked in the cellar a few months ago.
There are underground tunnels?
Yeah, but no one is supposed to know about them. Here's the main cellar. It looks like there's a false wall hiding a tunnel that leads to a storage shed. It's only 30 feet from the damaged section of the wall.
I have a problem with being in small places.
Well, get over it.
Right.
I'm not even sure if the map is accurate, but it's a chance we'll have to take. Once I tie the rope over the attic window, you'll climb up, rescue Sarah, then scale back down and make your way to the cellar door.
I'll sneak downstairs, unlock the cellar door, and wait for Tom and Sarah.
Richie, you're in charge of lookout. Find a safe place outside and signal Birdie. If we need to create a massive distraction, we'll call it Operation Chaos.
Got it.
Tom, once you're in the cellar, find the false wall and force it open.
And if I don't find it?
Then improvise. But whatever you do, get past the stone wall and away from Weatherly.
You're not coming with us?
No. By the time I get down from the roof, you and Sarah should already be in the tunnel. Okay, boys, let's move.
Standing, Patrick hands Tom the flashlight and old map.
Birdie, let the girls know what we're planning.
Will do.
Tom looks at his fellow orphans.
Thank you, all of you.
Just remember, Tom, once you escape, tell everyone what goes on at Weatherly and how we're treated. You're our only hope of getting out of here.
You can count on me.
Located in an attic lit by moonlight, Sarah is lying on a bed built from wooden crates. Suddenly, she hears noises outside. Dangling from an exterior rope, Tom reaches the attic window and taps on the glass. Sarah rushes to the window and shoves it open. She grabs Tom's shirt and pulls him inside. He gives her a firm hug, then drops to the floor, exhausted.
What are you doing? Are you crazy?
I'm here to rescue you. We're leaving Weatherly.
Really? Where are we going?
London, just like we talked about. But I think Speckle saw me, so we need to move quickly.
How are we ever going to...
Don't worry, I've got a plan. The other orphans are helping out.
Nervously, Sarah walks to the window and peeks out.
I can't believe you climbed all the way up here.
Unfortunately, that's how we're going back down.
What?
In their daring escape from the attic, Tom and Sarah were seen by Speckle and Operation Chaos was initiated. Orphans run throughout Weatherly, knocking over chairs and raiding the kitchen. Mrs. Grievous and Speckle storm inside, overwhelmed by what they see.
Speckle, what the heck's going on?
I don't know, madam. I saw two of them climbing down from the attic window.
Have Brewster and Sledge capture every one of these scoundrels. I'll get Wind and find those two missing brats.
Located outside, Tom tries to open the cellar door while Sarah holds the flashlight.
Tom! It's Wind! He's getting closer!
Trevor, unlock the door!
What's taking him so long?
I don't know. Trevor, get this thing open!
Finally, the cellar door opens and Trevor pops his head out.
Sorry. It was so dark, I fell down the stairs and was knocked out.
Tom and Sarah rush inside, close the door, and lock it. Tom quickly unfolds the old map and points to a section.
We don't have much time. I think the secret tunnel is hidden behind this wooden wall. Find something heavy to smash it with.
While Trevor searches, Sarah locates an old pipe and hands it to Tom. He smashes through the brittle wood.
It's working! Keep going! I can see a tunnel!
As Trevor clears away the debris, Tom stands at the entrance, hesitant to enter.
What's wrong?
I don't like small spaces.
It's okay. You'll be fine.
Easy for you to say. You're not claustrophobic.
And you're not afraid of heights.
Good point.
I better go before I'm caught. Okay. Thanks for your help. You bet. I'll miss you both.
As Trevor leaves, Tom jumps back.
Yikes! What's that?
It's just rats. Weatherly is filled with them. startled me.
Why don't I lead the way?
Grabbing the flashlight, Sarah enters, followed by Tom. Swiftly moving up the narrow tunnel, they find an old ladder at the end. They climb up and into a small storage shed. Tom walks to a door and opens it.
I can see the stone wall, about 30 feet away. There's an opening.
Should we run for it?
Yeah, it's now or never.
With all their strength, Tom and Sarah run across the grassy field. However, Mrs. Grievous is close by.
Go get 'em, boy! Hunt them down!
Seeing its prey, Wind takes off across the field.
She's let the dog loose! It's coming towards us!
Keep running! We're almost there!
Making it to the wall, Tom and Sarah barely climb through the opening. Wind tries to pursue but slides on the loose stones, snapping his fangs and clawing at the wall. Tom and Sarah tumble to the other side, hurry across the road, and hide in the bushes.
That was close.
Too close.
But we did it. We're free. Free from Weatherly.
It's not over yet. We still have a 4-mile hike to the train station.
What about the police?
We'll stay off the main roads, but whatever we do, we don't get caught.
Although Speckles searched for Tom and Sarah, they were nowhere to be found. Mr. and Mrs. Grievous did their best to counter the uprising. Brewster and Sludge ran through the rooms, waving their arms and scaring everyone back upstairs. One by one, each child was captured and carted away.
Reluctantly, the Grievouses had to accept what happened. There were just too many orphans to punish, and it would disrupt their profitable workshop. Nevertheless, they had one thing on their mind: finding Tom and Sarah.
Late that night in the Weatherly office, Mr. Grievous finished a call on his cell phone. Infuriated, Mrs. Grievous marches in. Speckles stands nearby, eager to help.
We must get those 2 orphans back. If they start talking, telling others about this place...
They won't get far. The local police will find them.
We can't take the risk. If word of the escape goes beyond the local police, the authorities might investigate our activities. We could go to jail.
What do you suggest?
There is someone. He's profoundly gifted at recovering runaways.
Yes, of course. Detective Gowerstone, that's an excellent idea.
I know. Now, make the call and get him here.
Although it was late, the orphans couldn't contain their excitement. They whispered and laughed about all the chaos that was caused, the wonderful food raided from the kitchen, and where their 2 escaped friends might be.
In a sense, each orphan now lived through Tom and Sarah. Every day they remained missing was a silent victory for all of them. Regardless of the future, they all agreed that it was the greatest night in the history of Weatherly, one we would never forget for a lifetime.
Hours later, with a gathering storm outside, Tom and Sarah arrive at Leyburn train station. People walk back and forth carrying holiday packages. The clock reads 12:45.
Just try to blend in and act natural.
Right. Natural. Do you think there's a train to London?
There must be. Maybe we can ask somebody.
Viewing the interior, Tom notices a tall man wearing a blue trench coat. Detective Gowerstone slowly turns.
Hello, Tom.
Gowerstone nods to the left and right. Policemen at opposite ends walk forward. Surprised, Tom is in a daze.
Tom, let's get out of here.
My name is Libby, Miss Austen. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope to see you again in the future.
Well, I hope to see you again as well. I see that the situation is more dire than I initially thought. These children are in great need of attention and support. I must say I'm deeply moved by their story, and I will continue to see the outcome of this situation until we have achieved a positive and uplifting resolution. We can overcome even the greatest of challenges.
Good show, everyone. I'm your We the Kids reporter here in London, and we're delighted to have you join us for another episode of Britfield and the Lost Crown. Do join us next week, won't you? Cheerio, and thank you for listening in.
We hope you enjoyed our interpretation of Britfield and the Lost Crown. The podcast for you to share will be available on americaoutloud.news/We the Kids and wethekids.us websites. And also, we have an exciting gift for you. Anyone who makes a donation on our We the Kids website will be entered to win a signed copy of the Welcome to the World of Britfield trilogy series. There will be 3 drawings held on December 15th. You can purchase the series at wethekids.us. And please remember to include We the Kids in the memo. We invite you to join us next week for the next segment of Britfield and the Lost Crown. To learn more about Britfield Adventures, please visit our website at wethekids.us. Happy holidays from all of us at Britfield Adventures and We the Kids.